Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show, and welcome to today's program. Friends, like I said, it's not the best day to be out shooting, but let me tell you, it's not a bad day. Remember, there's never a bad day to be out shooting your gun, just some better than others. We're glad to be with you this week, friends. Strange times we live in. Yes, Al Gore has finally conceded. We are still in great danger. Realize we have people of the caliber that we've never had, or at least certainly not according to history, in our own White House, in our own government. We have people trying to destroy our country, literally, who are in the highest offices in government. I heard George W. Bush say last night that in his speech to the country that he wanted to be the president of everyone, and I understand that, I understand him saying that, and he wants to try and work with everyone, with what everyone desires. That's wrong. We shouldn't work with what the liberal socialists desire. We shouldn't work with those who want to destroy our country. You know, we're hearing now Jesse Jackson has promised he's going to have demonstrations. I personally hope, and I'm no great fan of George Bush, but I personally hope they have the inauguration indoors, because a lot of the liberal socialists are not wrapped too tight mentally. The news media is trying to whip as many of the weak-minded liberal socialists into whatever action, and there may be somebody out there that's not wrapped too tight that thinks he'd be doing the country, doing his people a favor if he tried to eliminate George Bush or he and Dick Cheney. There are people out there, friends. That's why we have guns. That's why we carry guns, because there are nuts out there. But now the media is trying to say, well, George Bush really didn't win. It was all unfair. It was said they probably paid off the Supreme Court. That's what they're saying, stuff like this. We live in strange times. I'm very hopeful that Bill Clinton will leave office. On the next program, we have Larry Nichols' really interesting statement. He's going to be on our gospel show today. And really interesting things that Larry has to say. Larry's not a crackpot. Larry's someone who has seen the inner workings of how the Clintonistas operate. He's seen the inner workings of how the conspiracy, and it is a conspiracy, to destroy our country, to turn us into something our founding fathers never intended us to be. You know, I keep hearing democracy. Oh, our democracy. We've never been a democracy. Not one time, never have we been a democracy. We've been a democratic republic. Huge difference. A democracy is mob rule. And some of these folks that are out there marching in the streets for our democracy, we give us back our democracy. They don't even know what they're saying. They're not even smart enough to know what they're saying. If they can't punch a little hole in a little piece of paper, they're darn sure not smart enough to make decisions about democracy. We've never been a democracy, and we never want to be. The minorities that are complaining don't realize that under a democracy they would have no rights at all, none. We've heard stories that the Democrats have told some of the minorities in this area and other places that George Bush gonna bring back slavery. He gonna enslave y'all. That's crazy. That is crazy. But you see, there's nothing that the socialists won't do to try and destroy our country. Nothing at all. That's why we say beware, beware. This fight's not over with yet. On Monday the 18th, the electors are supposed to turn in their votes. I believe it's Monday the 18th. We've already heard from a source in Washington that any Republican elector that would change their vote, because it only takes 3 to change to give Al Gore the presidency. It only takes 3, just 3. We've heard that there is a bounty or a reward of $500,000 to any Republican elector that will change their vote. See, friends, it's not over. And even if the Electoral College actually gets through with Bush the winner, who knows? Bill Clinton is not gone yet, and I hope he does go. We have some really startling things to tell you. We'll do that a little bit later. Anyway, friends, we do have a great show for you. And let me tell you this. we're struggling to stay here. We need your help because we've got to keep our voice on TV. It's very difficult, very expensive being here on TV, but you know what? If we're on long enough, we're going to get our uplink running. We're going to get that channel. At least we'll have part of it. We'll have some influence. We'll have our shows on it, and it'll do a lot of good. Because, friends, now is a turning point. Now is a crossroads in our history as Americans. Right now, this is it. Is a real crossroads. If we don't turn this thing, we as real Americans, as freedom-loving people of any race, of any background, if we don't turn this ship now, while enough of us are alive who remember history, who were actually taught history before it became the public food system, when it used to be the public school system, we've got to turn it now if it's ever going to be done. We've got to do it now while there are enough of us alive and physically and mentally viable to get it done. Will you help us? Will you please help us stay on the air? Sit down, please write a check to the Shooting Show. Anything you can spare, if it's $5, $50, $500, or $5,000. Whatever you can do, will you please help us stay on the air? Our standard address, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. The zip code is 71024. Friends, we're going to see, regardless of what winds up in the White House, or who winds up, I say what as in what kind of administration, we as gun owners and free Americans are going to face an onslaught from the liberals. Hillary's already running computer models on how she's going to run for president. Let me tell you what. We're going to face an onslaught against us as gun owners as we have never seen. Trust me, it's waiting. Now, do you want to sit on the sidelines and let it go, or you want to join us? We ask you, please sit down, write a check if you can. Please sit down, write a check to the Shooting Show. We need your help to stay here.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, this is the new Georgia Arms 20th anniversary catalog. Of course, has a memorial there to our good friend Jim Clark there on the cover. This is a terrific catalog from the finest ammunition maker in the United States. They have all kinds of great prices on all sorts of ammunition: 243 Winchester, 270s, 7.62 by 39 Russian, all kinds of great stuff. They've even got 308 tracers, 30-06 tracers, all kinds of neat stuff here in this great new Georgia Arms catalog. They have components if you want to load your own ammo, and look here, we've got the Shooting Show and our new 460 Rowland kit on sale as well. Georgia Arms has the best prices for custom grade ammunition that I'm aware of in the United States, and guess what else? They're helping to support our Shooting Show. Friends, give them a call today. Free phone call, free catalog, 1-800-624-6861, 1-800-624-6861, Georgia Arms, and please remember to tell them that you heard it and saw it here on our program. Now, friends, this is a toy gun that is a full auto, actually, version. It's electric. And notice it sort of looks like a G3 or an HK91 that's been shortened. It's been chopped and channel type thing, and this is great fun. I'll show you. Watch it has a little safety here. It has a trigger here, a little safety. This must be pressed down. You load it right here. Pull this little tab back. This is where you load it through the rear sight. And it shoots these 6mm BBs, and watch here. Hold a little safety down and watch. We've even got a target here. It sticks and holds the little BBs, and let's see if we can hit the target. Push your safety down. There we go, we're getting a couple of them. And it actually, let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is fun. Actually, it'll stick to this target. And this is an amazing little creation here. A lot of these are going to be given as Christmas gifts this year. Even has a little BB catcher here that's a sticky target, and then it catches them in the base so they can be refired, as long as certainly they're not damaged. Now friends, this is for children over 14 years of age. It's what it recommends from UHC. And I tell you something else though we want to mention about toy guns. Realize that to a policeman in low light conditions, if a child or someone is holding one of these, regardless of whether he's shooting it or not, it looks similar to a real gun. It has a bright red muzzle brake type thing, certainly to help identify it as not being a real gun. But I tell you what, friends, you never, and I know people that have actually kept toy guns, realistic looking guns, at home for defense. Well, let me tell you what, if an armed criminal sees you with a toy gun, he don't know it's a toy gun, one of two things. He may run, he may think it's real and may not want to challenge you armed. But if he's armed, he'll shoot you on the spot. What you gonna do then? So we're very, very careful about how we handle toy guns. And we instruct our children to be very careful. We don't point them at other children. We don't point them at the dog. We don't point them at things that we can't afford to lose. And certainly eye protection is recommended for any sort of projectile launching contraption, whatever it may be. But this is very important. We should never, don't be so foolish. If you live in an area where you can't own a gun, move. Because you're not living in the United States of America. You're living in an occupied territory that used to be the United States. If you're living in an area where you can't own a gun, you ought to move. But never think about relying on a toy as a real weapon, because that could get you killed. And certainly tell your children that because there are instances, a couple of cases on file that I'm aware of, whereas children in some of the projects, some places where a policeman ran in a building, a child was holding a toy gun, well, the policeman shot and then asked questions later. So we have to be careful on our perception and what we do. They're just toys. We need to treat them, and certainly in this case, a serious toy, not something for, this is not something you would give a 6-year-old. A lot of fun, have a lot of fun with it, but it is a toy, and we need to bear that in mind.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Handgun Control Incorporated issued its scorecard of how much gun control the states have imposed on their citizens. The scorecard came out just in time for the opening of school. For the safety of the children, you know. HCI specifically stated that each state was carefully rated for the existence of 6 types of legislation that protect children from guns. I had the opportunity to debate an HCI spokesman on Fox Cable News. I pointed out some incredible inconsistencies in the scorecard. For example, Maryland got an A, but Nevada, with a slightly lower murder rate, got a D+. Illinois got a B+, but Alabama, with a lower murder rate, got an F. California got a score of B+, but Virginia, with a slightly lower murder rate, got a D. New York got a B+, but Wyoming, with a lower murder rate, got an F. Connecticut got an A-, but Montana, with an identical murder rate, got an F. Hawaii, Maine, and Massachusetts all had the same murder rate, but Maine got an F, while the other two control meccas got A's. And the 3 states with the lowest murder rates in the nation, New Hampshire, South Dakota, and North Dakota, all got D's. Go figure. Clearly, HCI is not interested in lowering crime. They are interested in keeping people from having access to firearms for self-defense. I pointed out that the loopholes HCI wanted to close could end up like the ultimate loophole closure, to use their word, of English gun banning. And now England's violent crime rate has risen to a higher level than that of America. The HCI representative did not like that and suggested that I was a conspiratorialist for suggesting that HCI wants to ban guns. I was able to show that, of course you do. Indeed, in 1999, a bill was before the U.S. House of Representatives to end the gun ban in Washington, D.C., and HCI opposed that measure. They would rather the people of Washington be legally disarmed, even though the criminals of the city have all the guns they want, and the results show it. Washington has the highest murder rate of any jurisdiction in the country. There's no doubt about it. The handgun control scorecard is a failure. Parents should send it back to school without a signature. In fact, the teacher should be brought up on charges of incompetence before the school board and fired. From Washington, this is Larry Pratt for Gun Owners of America.
Friends, for more information on Gun Owners of America, you can call them. Free call, 888-886-GUNS, 888-886-4867. Remember, they're helping to keep us on the air. They're doing a great job. Please tell them you saw it on our show. Now, friends, you know, we'll go to any lengths to demonstrate a point here. We're down here on the range at night. It's icy, and yeah, it's cold. It's below freezing down here, but who the heck cares? Because, you know, you might actually have to use your gun in conditions worse than this. Who the heck knows? Anyway, we have something we want to show you. This is my, I think you can see this. This is my full-size flashlight. It's a 5-cell flashlight. It's pretty doggone potent. It's a good light. A lot of police officers carry these. And then we have another light, and I want you to compare. I want you to see this little bitty light right here in comparison to this large 5-cell flashlight. Take a look at this. Now let's change sides here so we can see it a little better in the light here. This is our full-size 5-cell flashlight, and look how tiny, how small this little bitty light here is. This is a Surefire Z9. They're from Fountain Valley, California, and you would think there would be no comparison with this large light to this tiny Surefire light. Well, let's do a quick comparison. Now, friends, you'll notice it is pitch black. Now let's go ahead and take our full-size light here and we'll shine it on the target. See, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, but then let's take our small light and watch. See how it obliterates the large light? I'll take the other light away, and look how bright this little tiny light is. Is that amazing? This is the off-on switch here on the end, and watch when you touch it and see how it absolutely illuminates the target. And of course, you can also turn the end right here and it will come on as well. But this is very handy for shooters and people that are concerned about their home defense for shooting in the dark. This is a wonderful little light. Remember, friends, that Harris technique under your wrist. You probably can't see this right now, but you see those sights work just as well in the dark as they do any other time. Let's see if we got a center hit there. Ease up to our target and take a look. Yes, indeed, we have a hit right there in the we're using an actual police target here. This is a silhouette. Had a good hit. You see, these sights work just as well in the dark if you can just see your target. Let's see how this looks out here using our Harris technique. Again, we see our front sight and watch the target. Yes, indeed. Just went right away, didn't it? This little light from Surefire. Let me recommend these terrific little lights. Yes, I know it's dark down here. Maybe you can see this. For the Harry's technique, it's been a while since we've done this on the show, but I tell you what, friends, more and more of us are going to be facing home defense or home security situations and realize that many times an altercation will happen in low light conditions or in the dark. I don't have my shooting glasses on now because we're not going to shoot the gun. We're just going to demonstrate. The way this works, the Harry's technique, is you essentially cross your wrist, and this gives you pretty good, you give your in fact, I'm right-handed, you give this hand some support and it gives you some stability. Meanwhile, you can have your thumb on the button on the light switch, depending on what kind of flashlight you have, and it would go something like this, and you can see your sights. With a little practice, you'll be you'll be amazed how quickly you can acquire your sights, just like so. But this is easy to do, takes a little bit of practice. A friend that used to work out at the Gun Sight Training Academy, I watched a great demonstration. He told me when he went out walking his dog at night, because out there in Arizona they have a lot of rattlesnakes, and you better be able to see your target quickly. And if I recall, he carried one of these little Surefire lights. They're really amazing creations here. But that Harry's technique, see, remember, and we have to think. The whole point of us going through these drills and explaining these things is to help you think about what you're doing. You've got to be able to think. You can't just act blindly. I know people that they think that all they'll have to do if they're in an altercation, just empty the gun in that direction. No, no, no. Because you may have created even bigger problems. One, you'll be out of ammo and you may get yourself killed. Or two, if you just blindly fire, well, you may injure someone else in your home or a neighbor, someone like that. So we've got to think about these things. And in low light conditions, some people have lasers. I particularly do not care much for lasers. This, to me, is a much better solution because, one, it illuminates the entire target. That's unbelievable how bright that thing is, isn't it? Now, it takes camera batteries. You can get them. I found some at a local discount house there as spares, but we should think about practicing for some low light shooting. Another reason I like the button on the end of the light is you can shoot. If you have to, you can identify a target, shoot at the target, turn the light off, move. Because remember, if you face multiple adversaries or even one and you've got a light on, what are they going to shoot at? They're going to shoot at the light. So, in fact, if we're just looking around, it would be advantageous to us hold the light out here, because someone would assume that we're standing underneath that light like this. They would assume that we're standing there. So hold the light over here. Don't stand right behind the light, because what you've done is you've just set up an ideal target for an adversary in the dark. So you want to hold it away from you. Don't keep it on. Take a look, turn it off. Move. Take a look, turn it off. Get out of the way, you know. So these are things that we need to think about, and certainly you may want to, I don't know who Mr. Harry's was, but it was a good idea, like so. And shoot the gun, again, light off, move. Take another look, shoot, light off, move. Always trying to help, friends. Yes, it is cold out here.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
for folding stocks, for pistol grips, for regular stocks, for replacement stocks, for magazine extension tubes for your shotgun, for magazine replacement springs for your shotgun. How about the executive eye scraper, the executive letter opener, all from Choate Machine and Tool when you call for a free catalog. You can get the executive letter opener, a multi-purpose tool, or the executive eye scraper, a multi-purpose tool, for only your choice, only $2 when you call for a free Choate catalog. You can get both of them for $4, a $10 value. Friends, if you're a shooter or a gun owner, you need one of the Choate Machine and Tool Company catalogs. Call them today, 1-800-972-6390. In Ball Knob, Arkansas, they're helping to support our project. You need one of their catalogs. Again, 1-800-972-6390. And please remember to tell them that you saw it here on our show. Now, friends, a lot of people call me asking me where to buy magazines. One of the best is certainly from Wilson, but we have a new contender that is now available. This is a 1911 magazine, and it's from Clark Custom Guns, certainly in Princeton, Louisiana. And what I like so much, we've had terrific luck with these magazines. It has a rounded follower, and it has a lot of frontal support. A lot of times when in some firearms, here's what happens when the bullet comes forward. It actually will nose down and start up the feed ramp. Well, if you don't have enough of a brace there in the front as well as the rear, and a lot of them don't have any support in the front at all, will happen, it will jam or will not function properly. This is a terrific magazine for your 1911. They have it in blue and in stainless. It doesn't fit all the 1911s, the higher quality guns, Colts, Kimbers, things like that. Some of the, shall we say, the imported or lesser expensive guns, which are not made to mil spec, it won't fit in all of them. But if you've got a, shall we say, one of the higher quality 1911s, you ought to get one of these and try it. And if it works in your gun, well, certainly you can order some more. And now for our support group, we have Custom Leather Work in Saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana. We have Brooks Communication in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And for information on League of the South in South Carolina, call our friend Dennis Crocker, as well as for firearms training. And we also have for heavy equipment rental in Southern California, Gearlings Equipment Rental. Friends, we're out of time on this week's program. Thank you for being with us. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next shooting show.